Hi children, last time we saw about family and relationships. Let us recall now what we saw last time. We saw different members living in a family. They are related to each other in different ways. That is called relationship. Your parents are your grandparents. Your mother's parents are also called your grandparents, as well as they are called maternal grandparents. Your father's parents are called paternal grandparents. I hope you know the difference between maternal grandparents and paternal grandparents. Your mother's brother and your father's brother are called uncles. Mummy ka bhai or father ka brother also called uncles. The same way, your mother's sister and your father's sister are called your aunts. When you have your mother's sister and father's sister, they are your aunts. How you call them? Auntie, aunts, like that. Your uncle and aunt's children, when they have their children, they are called your cousins. You call them cousins. The wife of your uncle is your mother's and father's sister-in-law. So, the wife of your uncle is your mother's and father's sister-in-law. When your uncle and your uncle gets married, a new member comes in. She is a woman. She is called sister-in-law for your mother and father. The husband of your aunt, when your aunt gets married, he is a man and he gets in your family, and he is called brother-in-law for your mother and father. Your father and mother would call him as brother-in-law. I hope you know the difference now between sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Who is sister-in-law and who is brother-in-law? And many of you did a family tree last time. The relationship among different members of a family can be shown through a family tree. A family tree always starts with the grandparents. When you draw a tree, you have to begin with your grandparents down below there that belong to the first generation. So your grandparents belong to the first generation. Parents, uncle, aunts belong to the second generation. Their children belong to the third generation. When new members are added to a family, then the family tree gets extended. It becomes bigger and bigger. Till here we saw in the last class. Now, if you answer these questions, if you can, the grandparents belong to the third generation, yes or no? No, they belong to the first generation. A big nuclear family has parents and one child, yes or no? No, a big nuclear family has parents and more than two children. A family is a basic unit of society. Yes, it is correct. A family is the basic unit of society. And you have an activity. We'll come back to this activity later. Family influence. What is a family influence? Our family is our first school. How a family impacts children. Whatever we learn from the beginning, we learn from our family. Our learning happens first in our family. So, our family is our first school. The family teaches us many values like sharing and caring for others. When we see our grandparents sharing things with us and our parents sharing things with each other, we learn that value. And caring for others, loving others, knowing the needs of others and fulfilling them. It is also another value that we learn from our family. It also helps to shape our personality. These values, when we learn all these values, our personality develops. We become a good person in the society. So we learn the traditions of our family. Traditions means what? Whatever the way they do things. So we learn that from our parents and grandparents of our family, from the elders of our family. As I said, from our grandparents, we learn all those things, how they do things, the way they pray, the way they eat, the way they relate with others. Everything we inherit, we learn from our elders in the family. So each member of the family has some qualities. We must admire, we must love the qualities of each family member. Maybe your father is so caring and loving. Your mother has her own quality, maybe very good at cooking and so on. Your grandparents have their own qualities. They may narrate so many fairy tales to you, stories to you. That is also one quality. So we celebrate festivals and special occasions with our family members. Diwali and any other festival we celebrate together with our family members. This brings the family members close to one another. So when we celebrate all these festivals, we all come together in a family and we enjoy the festival, celebrating it. So it unites, it brings everybody together. Family members support each other in good and bad times. So when your father is in stress due to his work or job, your mother comforts him by making a cup of coffee or tea and advising him, sometimes just being with him. The same way other members of the family also share and support each other in good and bad times, in suffering and happiness. When you are sick, your grandparents and parents and aunts all come to the hospital if you are hospitalized, to see you, to support you, to comfort you. The same thing can happen to any of our family members. So they support each other in bad times as well as good times. Whom do you look alike? You must have noticed that most children have features and characteristics similar to their parents. Some of you may look like your father, some of you may look like your mother, not only the physical feature as well as the characters, the way you talk, the way you behave, and so on, learned from your parents. Very often siblings means what? Brother and sister also have features similar to each other. If you may behave like your elder brother or elder sister or younger brother, younger sister, so we learn things from our brother and sister as well. So we look like similar, we are having features similar to each other, means your brother or sister. Very often grandchildren also resemble, look like their grandparents. Some of you may behave like your grandparents. So we all learn all these features. We inherit, we get all these features from our root, our grandparents. Children also show similarity in their way of talking, walking, etc. So, as I said, you may talk like your grandparents or parents or your sibling, your brother or sister. You may walk like them, and you may eat like them, etc. Many other habits, many other features or characteristics you may have learnt from your parents and grandparents. Children inherit characteristics. They learn the characteristics from their parents and grandparents. Feature and characteristics are passed from one generation to the next. The way the grandparents behaved, they learned things, so they teach their children, and their children teach their children. So it is passed on, it is given to the next generation. The values are shared with the next generation. Such features are called hereditary features. Those characteristics that we inherit from our grandparents, the features that we learn from our parents and grandparents, are called hereditary features. I hope until this you understand. If you have doubts, we can discuss in the class. Thank you.